Hello there and welcome back. Today I'm going to look at how well my camper has performed since I built the sleeper cassette for the back. For those of you who don't know, I haven't gone down the route of the boot jump or anything like that. My car has got to remain a car. And so for that reason, I made a sleeper cassette which fits into the back. So how has it performed? Have I had to alter many things? Well, let's take a look. But first,
So it's Friday night at last, and after working all day, you've finally packed up your van and set off to the coast for the weekend. You've not bothered to book into a site and have just decided to pull in somewhere for the night. Oh, look, you found the perfect spot, overlooking a bay. I mean, who wouldn't want to wake up to this view? Look, it has an estuary, the mountains, even a seat. But a word of caution. Local knowledge is a useful thing. This beautiful spot is an ideal example of the perfect camper trap, and one that happened to an elderly couple only last year. The couple, arriving at dusk, failed to notice the small warning sign placed by a local resident beside the road, and awoke to discover they were trapped on an island that was getting increasingly smaller by the minute as the spring tide slowly and silently crept in around them. Fortunately, the water stopped just under their vehicle, and the couple and their small dog just had to sit it out for a few hours. But had it been accompanied by a storm surge, then this cautionary tale might have included the Coast Guard.
hello and welcome back. So, how has it gone? Has this been an unmitigated disaster, or has my little sleeper cassette worked? Well, it has. It's worked absolutely fine. I've been able to use the car as a car with very few problems. You can go to the tip, you can carry passengers in, and everything else like that. All I have to do is take the seats out, and the cassette is already in place. It takes up very little space, and it has worked well. Yeah, it's been lovely and warm in there. It's been comfortable, but there has been one or two tweaks I've had to make. As often happens, you've got to do a bit of fine tuning.
Firstly, a bit of a recap. If you've not seen the original build, then please scroll back a few vlogs. Much as I love the boot jump format, it wasn't suitable for us as we use this very practical vehicle as our main car and general all-rounder van. My wife, for example, is a stained glass artist who uses the bike to transport stock, equipment, and when she travels to craft fairs and do demonstrations, etc. I use it to collect materials or other pickups. Oh, and I haven't mentioned transporting people or pets. The main part of the build is obviously the cassette, which as you can see is light enough to slip out if required, but is usually left in the back of the vehicle as it takes up very little room. To use it, I just whip out the rear seats, which takes but a minute, and fold out the base for sleeping. It's big enough to be used as a double or as a single, and has plenty of space for other camping equipment. You might notice that the build is ideal for those who might find a boot jump a bit claustrophobic. Within the cassette is both storage space and a drawer for a stove.
I've had to make a couple of tweaks with regarding the double stove. The double stove has worked brilliant. The idea of using these with the two separate canisters was ideal. However, sometimes there's bedding here, so it's important that you put this aluminium shield up. The other thing was, if I've got two heavy pans on the stove, I discovered that it was pushing down a little bit on the drawer. So to get round that, this is one of those walking poles which was broken, the handle had broken off. I've altered it and it fits into a little spot underneath the stove, which just gives it a bit of added support. It doesn't go left to right. This is just to carry the weight of heavy pans, and it's worked a treat.
I've had a number of useful tips sent to me, and this was one of those. Putting your inflatable bed inside a sleeping bag before inflating it makes a more comfortable and firmer bed. Whilst out on my recent trips, I noted that my car's own internal lighting wasn't really up to the job, and I was having to use camping lamps as backup. I eventually acquired and installed a number of downlighters on the ceiling, which seems to have remedied the situation.
Some time ago, when I bought the van, a friend of mine gave me this, which is a turnbuckle. I knew what it was, but I had no idea what he'd using it for. I mean, it put a couple of welds in so that neither end would move. So I sort of threw it in my toolkit. Then a friend of mine called Sue showed me one of these. And it sort of made sense. There's a catch on the car. You put the hook around the catch, you pull down your door, and the eye on this end clips into the catch there, allowing you to have the door open for about 6 inches, which allows a free passage of air, but nobody can get in and out. So you can have the dogs on the inside, give them a bit of air if it's hot in summer. You can, if you're sleeping in the back, you can feel secure but still have that passage of air. Or similarly, if you're cooking, you're not getting carbon monoxide poisoning. It's the end of an evening, you're ligged out in bed, you've had the back door open because it's summer and you wanted warmth, but you want to close the door. So you end up reaching out from your bed as far as you can, trying desperately to grab this stupid strap on the back door. The solution, as a dog owner, is a dog lead. Now, I'm fortunate in that my back door also has an opening window, which means it has some little struts of their own. So clip one end on there, clip the other end on the aforementioned strap, and you don't have to lean out as far. You just simply grab it, pull the door to. Simples.
And finally, I have to admit that I've been a bit of a failure. The blackout blinds have worked a treat, but unfortunately, the divider screen, though bright and colourful, has started to fall apart. And so down comes the tartan rug that I hung on the 3 hooks, and up goes a more serviceable curtain track, to which I have to mention and thank my good friend Sally, who is making me up some lovely new curtains. In forthcoming episodes, at the bequest of my wife, the car is undergoing a bit of an interior design makeover to make it a little bit more attractive.
And finally, we've come to the end of this little show. Thank you so very much for watching. I aim to pop these things out roughly every 10 days, which gives me enough time to either make something or go off on a trip, etc. The making things I really enjoy, and many of these come from people's suggestions. So please keep the suggestions and comments coming. Don't forget to subscribe, because that way you don't miss what comes next. And once again, thank you all so very much for watching, and see you soon.